And Abijam lay down with his fathers, and they buried him in the city of David, and his son Asa became king in his place. So in the 20th year of Jeroboam, the king of Israel, Asa began to reign as king of Judah. He reigned for 41 years in Jerusalem, and his mother's name was Maachah, the daughter of Abishalom. Now Asa did what was right in the sight of the Lord, like his father David. He also removed the male cult prostitutes from the land and removed all the idols which his fathers had made. And even his mother Maachah, he also removed her from the position of queen mother, because she had made an abominable image as an Asherah. And Asa cut down her abominable image and burned it at the Brook Kidron. But the high places were not eliminated. Nevertheless, Asa's heart was wholly devoted to the Lord all of his days. To our immense relief and surprise, we read that Asa did what was right in the eyes of the Lord, just as his father David had done. Among other things, this teaches us that we are not crippled by our past. The Holy Spirit can intervene to do a powerful work of grace in the lives of our families and our own individual lives. What is weak can be made strong. What is wounded can be healed. What is lost can be saved. Even if no one else in our family has ever been faithful to God, we can still do something to serve his kingdom, maybe more than anybody who has ever came before us. The future is always full of spiritual possibilities. A notable example of God's intervening grace comes from the story of King Asa, who belonged to the house of David. Now, it would be easy to think that Asa would never amount to much of anything. Sometimes we are tempted to think the same things about ourselves or about our children, that given our past, anything we could possibly do for God would just be very limited. But to our relief, we read that for the first time since Solomon's failure, we hear that the monotonous cycle of wickedness was not unbreakable. Asa was different. And it's hard to be different when the world constantly keeps trying to pull us down to its level. It's like the story of a wild duck who was flying northward with his friends across Europe one spring. En route, he landed in a barnyard in Denmark, where he quickly made friends with the resident tame ducks. The wild duck, enjoying corn and fresh water, decided to stay for an hour, and then for a day, and then for a week, and finally for a month. At the end of that time, he contemplated joining his friends in the vast Northland, but he had become to enjoy the safety of the barnyard and the company of the tame ducks. So he stayed for the entire summer. One autumn day, though, while his wild companions were returning overhead, he heard their quacking. It stirred him with delight, and so he enthusiastically flapped his wings and rose into the air to join them. But much to his dismay, he could rise no higher than the roof of the barn. And as he waddled back to the safety of the barnyard, he muttered to himself, "I'm satisfied here. I have plenty of food, and the area is comfortable. Why should I leave?" So he spent the winter on the farm. Next spring, when the wild ducks flew overhead once again, he felt a strange stirring in his breast, but now he did not even try to fly up and meet them. When they returned in the fall, they once again invited him to join them, but this time the duck did not so much as even notice them. He simply just kept on eating his corn. He sounds like a Calvary Chapel duck, doesn't he? But today we face really the same challenge. And it's the challenge of abandoning the security of worldly attitudes and lifestyles and to be free from the gravitational pull of this world system. It is the challenge of choosing the hard path, even when an easy one is open before us. It's the challenge of living supernaturally, and it's the invitation to lose our lives in order to find them. It's deciding to choose that narrow road, and like Moses, preferring to suffer affliction with the saints instead of enjoying the pleasures of sin for that very short season.